Taylor Rooks.
A look at the playoff bracket out west. The Lakers are moving on after their win over the Rockets in Game 6. Next up for them, a matchup with the reigning NBA champs, the Thunder. Welcome on into the Lounge at Stage 11. I'm Taylor Rooks with BG, Dirk, Steve, and UD. The Lakers know what is coming for them next, and we say goodbye to the Rockets season, but not just about this game we just watched. When you think about that series, what do you want the Lakers to take from it, and what do you want the Rockets to take from it as they move into their summer?
Well, for the Lakers, I mean, it's great experience for some of those guys, right? Like Luke Kennard hasn't been on this team very long. Some of those guys haven't played the minutes that they got to play in this series. So just build on it. I mean, you know what's in front of you. It's Oklahoma City Thunder, and they're playing like the best team in basketball and have been the best team in basketball. So just take that away and get some rest and be ready to go for Houston. I mean, obviously it's a disappointing season, right? For a lot of different reasons. Sort of started out a little hot and every month sort of took a step down. But, no Fred VanVleet, no Steven Adams for a lot of it. KD was able to play one hobbled game in the playoffs. So this isn't a crazy outcome, right? But by no means I think is a time to blow up the team and figure out something else. So, you come back next year with all those guys healthy and try to figure it out. But, some good experience for the young guys. I mean, they have such a good young core. Tari, Jabari, Sengun, Reed, Amen. I mean, they have some guys that can go get it. So, regroup and come back.
Yeah, and they showed a lot of flashes. So much of it, you heard head coach Ime Udoka talk about it as well. So much of it was getting the experience, having to grow up. And we saw those lapses, but there were flashes that they showed, UD.
Yeah, and use that. Use the way this season ended to drive you throughout the summer. Take your time, get your rest, but don't forget how you feel right now. Don't forget how this game made you feel and how losing this way made you feel. Use that to drive you through the summer, get better, and every time you see the Lakers, you make sure you show them what time it is.
Yeah, well, the Lakers' gift here, facing the OKC Thunder. Let's look ahead to that series and what you anticipate, Steve.
Well, it's tough. It's tough for the Lakers, especially without Luka. Even with Luka, they struggled as a matchup versus the Thunder. The Thunder are playing great. They're rolling. Who knows when J-Dub will be back? That's obviously puts them even in another category, but that's a well-oiled machine playing great basketball, completely focused. I'd say for the Lakers, though, their environment's been great. They played professional basketball through this first round. They had a lot of injuries, great leadership from LeBron. I think the coaching staff, getting contributions from people, Luke Kennard, DeAndre Ayton. I think these are guys that we're not sure what we're going to get something out of in the playoff environment. They all contributed. So, I think they've done a great job kind of maxing out where they're at right now, given their injuries, given this stage and this cycle. So hats off to them. They handled business. They're well coached, well prepared, and well led by King James. So, this is just going to be a very, very difficult task given the level that OKC is playing at right now.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for the Lakers, even with everybody healthy. The speed, the quickness on the perimeter, the depth, the youth, the length. I mean, they're just so deep, the OKC team on every position. And that's going to be a tough matchup with Luka. We've seen those two games in OKC this year already, up 30 at halftime. It was OKC. So that's a tough matchup. You can only hope on defense they can chunk it up a little bit, play some zone, use their length a little bit, keep the OKC Thunder in front of them, hoping maybe they don't get a good night from three, and maybe they can steal one. And on the offensive end, they got to take care of the ball. That's where it always starts with OKC. They got to be smart, put LeBron in good scoring positions, good playmaking positions. I don't think you want him dribbling up there, trying to break down their defense. Put him on the elbow, put him on the block, be effective there. Austin has a couple more days to get healthier and, let it all rip there in the first game and try to steal one.
Yeah, well, we know what it's going to look like for them in the second round, but the Rockets were trying their best to make history after falling behind 3-0 against the Lakers. They won 2 games in a row to take it to Game 6, but tonight their season officially reached the end of the road. Take it away, Dirk.
Natural.
That's all I got for you.
I'm not gonna lie.
You can sing a little bit.
Can I? This is awful. Let's go to Bob.
Why am I not surprised?
What's the story behind that? Why were you doing that?
What was I doing?
That felt voluntary.
Yeah, it was rented as a studio. And,
The Mavs always had me do some silly stuff on the Jumbotron, so that must have been just one of these numbers again.
Well, you know.
Analyst John Gonzalez. And John, there was a point there in the first half, towards the end of the second quarter, where it was an 11-point game for LA. Rockets trying to make it a 9-point game. Then they had back-to-back threes. LeBron hits one of them, and you think, okay, this is where the game is lost for the Rockets. What did you see out of LA, but specifically about the oldest man on the floor looking like the youngest out there?
Yeah, we were talking about it before we got on air. I mean, there was a point in the second half where everybody looked like they were just exhausted because the Lakers were playing pretty good defense and the Rockets were trying to get shots off and couldn't get anything to fall tonight. And everybody looked like they were completely spent. And then there's LeBron zipping up and down the floor, full speed, full steam. And I think, he goes for 28 points tonight, not very efficient. He took 25 shots to do it. But he limited his turnovers, and my whole thing is he played 37 minutes tonight, Chris. This guy at 41 years old is a huge reason, the primary reason, why the Lakers, who were without Luka Doncic for this entire series and who were without Austin Reeves for all but 2 games, are moving on, and they're out of the first round for the first time in 3 seasons. They didn't make it out of the first round last year or the year before, and I didn't expect them to make it out this year because when they're so top heavy with those 3 guys and 2 of them not being there from most of the series, it's just remarkable what LeBron has done. And so full marks to the Lakers. And also, especially after going up 3-0, then losing these last 2 games, you got to get back on a plane, you go to Houston. Things could get a little dicey. All of a sudden, maybe there's a game 7, and LeBron said, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to OKC.
Yeah, and that's why he is one of the best of all time. Also, shout out to Rui Hachimura. He was somebody else who also stepped up. Austin Reeves with 15, 7-14 shooting. When you think about the Rockets season, John, after losing in 6 games and losing that game 3, of course, they only had KD for one of these games. How would you define their season as we go ahead into their offseason?
Frustrating and disappointing. Yeah, you only had KD for 1 game, but you were the favorites coming into the series because, again, the Lakers were without Luka for the entire series and without Austin Reeves for 2 of those games. And by the way, the Lakers lost one of those games with Austin Reeves. So the Rockets, they should have had enough firepower here to get this, to pull this off. But Alperen Şengün was uneven. Amin Thompson, who's fantastic, has obviously some work to do in the offseason on this shot. Reed Shepherd could not hit a shot from almost this entire series. And tonight, all of them were bad. I mean, just abysmal shooting nights tonight. 35% from the floor, 18% from 3. This is not a good shooting team to begin with, but even by their standards, 18% from 3-point range is obviously not going to get it done. And, you lose Fred VanVleet before the season ever starts, and everybody thought, okay, well, they need some backcourt help. Rafael Stone, their president of basketball operations, has to go and get them some backcourt help. Instead, they empower Amin Thompson and say, we're going to put the ball in your hands. Okay, that gets you only so far, though. That's a regular season move. And you saw throughout this series that they were desperately in need of playmaking, shot creation, shooters, right? I mean, even when you have Kevin Durant, a lot of that fell on him. And he was one of the only reliable shooters, along with sometimes Jabari Smith, sometimes Reed Shepherd, certainly not Reed Shepherd in the series. So the Rockets kind of have to go back to the drawing board here. It's going to be an interesting offseason to decide, all of a sudden now there's rumors about could they maybe want to move on from KD? Was that trade a good trade? You can't get out of the first round. How do they go and get guard help? Are they going to maybe be in on the Giannis sweepstakes? This goes from a team that was top 10 in both offense and defensive rating this regular season to a team that all of a sudden, all their flaws, super exposed by the Lakers in this series.
John, how realistic do you think it is that we see KD back in a Rockets uniform for next season?
Yeah, it's a question, right? He's 37 years old. Like, there's rumblings about, did he want to be there with this team? Do they get along? Does he fit? Did they ask him to do too much? I thought he was a perfect fit for them because, they go and get him because last year they had serious problems closing out games. They didn't have anybody to take those big shots. Okay, that should be asked and answered, right? Problem solved. You bring in Kevin Durant, one of the great late game closers of all time. But what happened was when Fred VanVleet went down, and the fact that the way that the roster was constructed, they just put so much on Kevin Durant. And you saw in the series how much they missed him because, look, Alperen Şengün is a really good player, made All-Star, outside shot of making All-NBA, but he's not the guy that you can really looks like run the offense through. That hasn't really happened. Again, Amen Thompson, he is limited offensively, does everything else on the floor really well, but that's not really his thing. Where you need a bucket, it's not going to be Amen Thompson. Reed Sheppard, I think I might be the last guy on Reed Sheppard Island, and I think I might be departing because I really thought that Reed Sheppard could step up, but he did not in this postseason. I mean, he just could not get a shot to fall. And when you're a small guard like that and guys are hunting you on defense, you absolutely have to be a knockdown shooter, and he has not been. Maybe that was just a streaky thing, but it's something to think about. And then Jabari Smith is just, he's a nice piece, but he's not somebody to build your team around. So, if Kevin Durant decides and he looks around and goes, these guys aren't the guys, maybe it's time for him to go yet again. We've seen his propensity to pick up and move on. So it could be another time for Kevin Durant to say, it's been real.
You know what, John? I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest, okay? Nothing can surprise me after that Luka Doncic trade, all right, to the Lakers for AD and a couple of picks, right, and Max Christie. When you look at the Lakers, okay, now they're going up against the defending champs, OKC. Of course, they don't have Jalen Williams still, right, because of that injury. Hopefully he'll get back soon. But what chances do you give the Lakers with Austin Reeves and LeBron, and let's say Luka comes at the end of it, even if there is an end of it in 7 games, what chances do you give the Lakers against Oklahoma City?
No chances. 0 chances, even with Luka. You can get Luka back. It won't matter. During the regular season, OKC beat them all 4 times. Going into that last game where they played at Oklahoma City, the Lakers were thinking, hey, we're going to go and see what we're made of here. They had won 15-17 going into, it was the second to last week of the season. Everybody was healthy. They go in there and Oklahoma City absolutely blew the doors off of them. And then on top of that, that's the game where Luka got hurt. And that's also the game when Austin Reeves got hurt. And it's just, even without Jalen Williams, what Oklahoma City is better suited to withstand not having a player of Jalen Williams' caliber than any other team. They're the deepest team in the NBA. And what they do well is something that's been a problem for the Lakers. You saw it in the series. The Lakers had problems with turnovers, right? And that the Rockets generated points off turnovers. Well, if you look over the last 2 seasons, who's the best team at the NBA in 1, creating turnovers, and 2, generating points off of turnovers? It's Oklahoma City. They also have home court advantage. They've got SGA, the defending and maybe 2-time MVP. They're just loaded up and down the roster. They can throw so many different looks at you. They've got bigs. They've got great wings who can guard. They lose Jalen Williams, no problem. Here comes AJ Mitchell. It's just such a tall task for a team that even when healthy, even when they had their 3 best guys with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, they're just so thin everywhere else, right? I mean, you saw earlier in the season or in the series against the Rockets, Luke Kennard got hot, Marcus Smart got hot, and then that started to ebb a little bit, right? DeAndre Ayton had a fantastic series. Great. That only gets you so far. I think this is a sweep. Maybe the Lakers get a game, but that's just me being like kind of charitable. The honest opinion is that I think this is a 4-game sweep and Oklahoma City is on the glide path to the conference finals.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be easy money for Oklahoma City and SGA. John Gonzalez, always appreciate the time, man. Take care. Well, LeBron might not get another series win in this postseason. Who knows? Maybe we'll be wrong, but he's got the most series wins in NBA history, with 42 of them, 2 more than another former Laker, Derek Fisher, who had 40. Coming up, in the end, the Lakers, too much to handle for Houston as they get a convincing win in Game 6. We'll have highlights. We come back on HQ.